Welcome to the Yoga Rogue Yoga Shed. I've just been clearing out a little bit, tidying up, fresh for the new year, and ready for the workshop. Now, today, as you see this will be day 5, but of course I'm recording this on day 4, and on day 5 I'm also doing my workshop, which is free. If you wish to sign up for workshops in the future, please do email me. The information's on the website. And otherwise, I will record it and you will be able to have access to it. So I'd like you to start by just tuning in to your body and your breath. Just notice how you feel today. Scan the body from the tips of your toes all the way up your legs, through the abdomen and chest, down the arms to the fingertips, back up through the neck and to the top of your head, and just notice how you feel. Be aware of your breath. Is it rapid or slow? Is it shallow or deep? Do you have to alter it in any way to make it more comfortable? Check how you're holding yourself. Are you crunching up your shoulders? Do you need to roll them back and down? Do you need to release tension? We're going to start by lying down, so please come down and join me on your mat. Stretching out the legs, taking the arms down by your side and tuning in again. Then sweep the arms up and overhead, stretch through the fingertips and flex the feet at the heels. So you've got a strong line of energy right from the tips of your fingers out through the soles of your feet. Stretch, 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 and soften. And do that again. Stretch, 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 and soften. Walk the heels over to the right and your shoulders to the right. Take hold of the left hand, coming into our banana side stretch. Feel that stretch down the left side of your body. And breathe. Come back to center. Walk the heels to the left and the shoulders to the left, taking hold of the right wrist. Feel that stretch down the right side of your body. And breathe. Come back to center and just allow your knees to come into your chest. Rock a little side to side, noticing any release of tension that you need in your back. And we'll take a variation of a supine twist here. So start by placing your feet flat on the mat and then drop the knees over to the left side. Stretch out the arms and take the gaze over to the right. Pause and notice. Then bring the knees back to center. Keep the arms stretched out. Drop them over to the opposite side and take the gaze over to the left hand. Pause and notice. Come back to center. Bring the knees back into the chest. Take the hands under the knees and do a little rock and roll to come up to seated. But go straight over to 4-point kneeling pose, tabletop. Remembering to have your knees under your hips and your wrists under your elbows, under your shoulders. Take some cat-cow here, so tilt the pelvis, drop the belly and lift through the chest. Tilt the pelvis round through the spine and drop the chin to chest. Tilt, drop and lift. Tilt, round, chin to chest. One more of each. Tilt, drop and lift. Tilt, drop and chin to chest. Come back to tabletop and go straight down to the belly. We'll start with a wide-armed cobra. So instead of having your hands under your fingertips, take them wide as the mat or even just outside of the mat or on the edge of the boundary of the mat. Pushing down through the tops of the legs, through the tops of the feet and through the pelvis. Don't let your shoulders be crunched up and don't sink into the mat at the top of the body. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. One more. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. Release for a moment. Hands under the forehead. Turn the toes out. Coming into crocodile pose, Makarasana. And breathe. Then release the feet. Take the hands under the shoulders and we'll have a more typical cobra. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. One more. Inhale and lift. Maybe hold a little in your cobra. Don't let your shoulders crunch up to your ears. Maybe take a little look side to side. Gently does it. And lower down to the mat. Keeping your hands under your shoulders. Push back through tabletop all the way to your child's pose. And breathe. Notice any sensations. And come back to tabletop. From your tabletop, tuck the toes, hover the knees, send the sit bones back and up, coming into your first downward facing dog. Pedal the feet here, feeling the stretch down the backs of the legs, and remember to keep that length in the spine. Then slowly walk the toes to the hands, coming to the top of the mat. We'll take a ragdoll here, so keep the knees bent or soft, don't lock them. Take hold of the opposite elbows and just hang. Swing a little side to side. Then release the hands to the mat and step the feet a little wider. Shift the weight into the right foot and stretch out the left leg, straightening it a little but don't lock it. Shift the weight into the left leg, straighten the right a little more but don't lock it. And then just move a little side to side, feeling those sensations down the backs of the legs and through the hamstrings. Walk the feet back to hip width apart. Generously bend the knees, coming up onto the fingertips. Take the arms back, lengthen through the spine, and rise up into Utkatasana, chair pose. We've been here before. Keep the tailbone tucked under, so you're not sticking out your derriere, creating a duck bottom, and keep it just tucked in. Take the hands to heart center, still staying strong in your chair. Maybe come up onto your tiptoes. It's okay to wobble. And release. Today we're going to run through a variation of a sun salutation, the classical sun salutation. So we start by coming to the top of the mat, or if you're already there. Now typically toes are together and heels are a little apart. But many of us feel more comfortable in our lower back if the feet are hip width apart. So find the best foot position for you. Lift the toes, spread them wide and place them back down on the mat and just rock a little, finding your central point so that your weight is even through your feet. Be strong through the legs, engage the quads so the kneecaps are lifted a little bit. Have a slight tuck to the tailbone, lift through the chest, pull the shoulders down and back, away from the ears, and hands are down by your sides. Feel a strong line of energy through your head, right through the ground, coming into your Tadasana, mountain pose. Mountain pose is not a passive pose. We stand strong. It's grounding, it's centering. It's where it all begins from. From your mountain pose, inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead, taking a very gentle back bend, engaging the glutes and pushing the hips forward a little bit. And then on the next exhale, bend the elbows, soften or bend the knees and come all the way down to the mat into a deep forward fold. Step the right leg back as far as is right for you and drop the right knee. Now, if your knee is uncomfortable, you can put a blanket folded under it and make sure that your left knee is staying above the ankle and not going forward above the foot. You're trying to sink down through the hips on that right side. From here, inhale, sweep the arms up, coming into a low lunge, and turn those pinky fingers in. And breathe. Drop the hands to the mat. Release that left foot and take it back to join the right foot, coming into a plank. In a plank pose, you're pushing energy through the heels. You're pushing the mat away. Feel the strength through your core. Drop to your knees if you prefer. Shift forwards and lower down to the mat. Now, typically in Sun Salutation C, we move down to knees, chin and chest, but most of my class don't like that. So we go to half plank and lower to the mat. From here, release the feet and rise up to a cobra. Then push all the way back, tuck the toes, send the hip bones, sit bones to the sky, coming back into your downward facing dog. And breathe. Take a couple of breaths here, keeping length through the spine. The right leg is leading, so we step the right foot through the gate, so the arms. Now, it doesn't matter how your foot gets there, but if you lift through the chest and the back, it will help you move that foot forward. Drop the left knee to the mat. You can untuck your toe if you wish and rise up again into a low lunge, turning those pinky fingers in so that you feel that movement through the arms, sinking the hip, particularly on the left side this time. Hands come back to the mat, tuck the toes and step that left foot forward to join the right, coming back into a deep forward fold. From here, generously bend the knees, lengthen through the spine and sweep the hands all the way up, coming back to your extended mountain. Release the arms, coming back to Tadasana, where we started. And breathe. We'll repeat that on the other side. This time, the left leg will lead. So start, find your mountain again, and just pause. Notice if one side of the body feels different from the other. Then on the next inhale, raise the arms up and overhead, coming into your gentle back bend. As you exhale next, generously bend the knees or soften them and come down to a deep forward fold. Left leg is leading, so left leg steps all the way back. Drop the knee, remember to cushion it if you need to, and rise up into your low lunge, sinking the hips low, turning those pinky fingers in. And breathe. Take the hands down to the mat, tuck the back toe and let the right leg join the left, coming into your plank, pushing the mat away. Then lower the knees, shift forwards and lower down to the mat. Untuck the toes if you wish here. Rise up to your cobra, maybe making it a little stronger this time. Lower back down to the mat, tuck the toes, push the sit bones back and rise up once again into your downward facing dog. And breathe. Take a couple of breaths here. Then we're going to step the left foot forward. So lift through the body to help you get it as far as you can. Drop the right knee, untuck the toes if you wish, and sink the hips to the mat. Rise up, back into your low lunge. And breathe. Release the hands to the mat, tuck the back toes, step them forward, coming back to your deep forward fold. Generously bend the knees, lengthen through the spine, and rise all the way up once again to your extended mountain. And release, coming back to Tadasana, mountain pose. Turn to the long edge of the mat, come to the middle, have a little shimmy, have a little shake, and pause. Just notice how you feel. We'll take a balance here. And we'll have a tree, because we haven't had one for a couple of days. Start by shifting the weight into the right foot. Turn the left leg so that the thigh is externally rotated. Bring the left heel to the right ankle, and that may be your tree. Find a position for your hands if you wish. Or you may wish to take the foot higher. So take it onto the lower leg, still encouraging that knee open so that the femur, the thigh bone, is externally rotated. Don't place the foot on the knee, that's not good for your knee joint, but you can take it higher. Find a drishti point. That's a point for your focus and concentration to help you balance. Don't sink into your tree, but be strong and lift through the chest. Take the hands, maybe to heart center, maybe grow branches, or even overhead. And breathe. And release. Just pause. Notice how one side of the body feels compared to the other. See if it's any different. And swap sides. So shift the weight into the left foot. Externally rotate the right leg, bringing that thigh open. Find the placement for your foot, for your tree. It may be a low tree. Remember, not the knee, but you can find your drishti, a point to gaze at for focus and concentration. Your foot can be higher or higher still. You can always stand against a wall or a door for extra balance. Maybe grow your branches or take the hands overhead. And be strong in your tree. And release. Pause and notice again. Notice how each side of the body feels. Then have a little shimmy, have a little shake, and come down to seated. We'll take a butterfly here, so soles of the feet together. Lift through the chest and hinge forward at the hips. Just lowering the chest towards the mat, just to the point that's right for you. And then allow the head to drop. Notice any sensations. Take the hands to the mat and rise up and come back to tabletop. So we're going to take a pigeon here. Now, please be very careful with pigeon. You never want to do anything that's going to cause pain in the knee joint. So be very gentle with yourself and listen to your body. I'll do the left side first so it's easier for you to see. You may need a block or a cushion or a blanket with you, which will help. We start in tabletop and then take the left knee to just behind the left wrist. Then this foot may stay here, just where it is. Some people can take that leg across the mat. If your leg is able to go across the mat because you're used to pigeon, that is great, but make sure you flex that foot. Do not force yourself into this position because you will injure your knee. So most of us will have our leg further down, most of us, not all yogis. And from there, you can scooch your right knee as far back as is right for you. Now from here, you might be right up here, and that's fine. If your left hip is hanging in midair, you can use your block or cushion or blanket under it. And then in your pigeon, rise up. Feel that stretch down the spine. And then slowly lower down to the mat, coming into your sleeping pigeon, our snoozy pigeon. And breathe. And just try and soften your body into the mat as much as you can. Then rise back up, and to come out of pigeon, just simply roll onto that left hip. Come back to tabletop, and before we go to the other side, push back to your child's pose. And breathe. Then come back up to tabletop. We'll repeat that on the other side. So right knee to right hand. Find the foot position that's right for you, being extremely careful with that knee. Take the left knee back as far as is right for you and use a block or a cushion if that right hip is in midair. Rise up onto your fingertips, lifting through the chest, and then slowly lower down onto the mat for your sleeping snoozy pigeon. And breathe. To release, come up, but simply roll onto that right hip. Release the legs back to tabletop and just push back to your child's pose. Stretching out the fingertips and just rock a little bit side to side. From here, come forwards and just turn and lie down on the mat. We're going to take another supine twist because it's really good as a counter pose for the work that we've done. But this time we will be pulling the cat's tail. No cats will actually be having their tails pulled. It's just what it's called. So, moving the things out of the way, stretch your left leg out. Take your right foot to your left knee. Take your left hand to your right knee. And encourage that right leg across the body. I'll just scooch over slightly. Then the lower leg is your left leg. Bend that left knee and take hold of it with your right hand. I find this pose, I completely lose where right and left are. I don't know which is which. And then allow your right shoulder to sink to the mat and take your gaze over to the right. It's a bit of a tangle twist. And breathe. Bring your head back. Release your arms and legs and come back to the center. We do that on the other side. Stretch out your right leg. Take your left foot to right knee. Right hand to left knee. Encourage that left leg across the body. Bend the lower leg, which is now the right leg, and take hold of it with the left hand. Let your left shoulder sink towards the mat and take your gaze to the left. Notice where sensations arise through the side, through the hips, and breathe. Release the head, release the arms and legs, and just pull your knees into your chest and rock side to side. Take a gentle rock back to a seated position. Sitting on a blanket or a cushion if you wish. And tune back in. Notice your breath. Notice your body. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you soon.